Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are St. Louis.
This afternoon, the final meeting between the Chicago Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals. A contentious weekend series here at Wrigley Field, filled with big moments and big wins for Chicago. They're looking for a sweep. Martinez looking for the Cardinals' victory. Baseball comes your way next. This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball and a gorgeous afternoon here in the windy city of Chicago. Game number 3, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Chicago Cubs. With Pat Barris and Tim McCarver, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Delighted to have you with us for Sunday baseball here on Fox Sports Midwest. And if the Cardinals get to the finish line in first place, they'll have to do it with pitching. The pitching, Tim, has been struggling as of late.
I didn't think I would ever hear these words this year, that the Cardinals have to straighten out their pitching, much less saying these words. In September, their earned run average was a bloated 5.26, 23rd in the major leagues after leading the major leagues in earned run average for 5 months.
So it'll be Carlos Martinez getting the call today for the St. Louis Cardinals, John Lester for the Chicago Cubs. A couple of young faces. They provided a spark offensively for St. Louis as of late, and that's Tommy Pham and Stephen Piscotty. Both in the lineup today. Baseball coming up. John Lester was a day game in St. Louis, and Jason Hayward picked up a stolen base. Hayward this year with 22. Think about this. These are the stolen base leaders of the Cardinals. There have been 52 attempts this year against John Lester. They have only caught 9. That could be a key factor here in the final game of this weekend series. Carlos Martinez, John Lester. Cubs, Cardinals from Wrigley. Does it get any better? Baseball next.
We are Team Elite. Today, the Cardinals are in Chicago to face the Cubs. Go Cards!
A beautiful day here at Wrigley Field in Chicago. And Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealers for great prices on our all-new 2015 vehicles today. With Pat Paris and Tim McCarver, Dan McLaughlin with you from Wrigley Field. We're at 69 degrees. Sun is shining brightly. Big crowd on this Sunday afternoon. A look at the Cardinals lineup for Mike Matheny's club, trying to salvage a game in this weekend set. Matt Carpenter homered yesterday. Then Tommy Pham, he's had a very good road trip. Jason Hayward, Johnny Peralta, Steven Piscotty, the second baseman Colton Wong, Yadier Molina, Brandon Moss, and the pitcher batting ninth, it is Carlos Martinez. So on the bench still for the Cardinals, some firepower there when you think about Adams and Holiday and Randall Grichuk along with Mark Reynolds. So many options in this game for Mike Matheny. The importance of this game, 14 to go for the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals are headed to postseason play for sure. We know that. They are 92-56. The Cubs are 87-61. Pittsburgh is 4 back of St. Louis. Chicago is 5. And still some work to do.
Yeah, so do you make it to the postseason with one game to play to get to the next round, or the best 3 out of 5? That's what will be determined over the next 4 games for the Cardinals and the Cubs and the Pirates.
Great matchup here today with John Lester getting the call for the Chicago Cubs. His last time out was against Pittsburgh. It was his 12th career complete game, and he has pitched very well in the second half of the season.
The last time he faced the Cardinals was probably his best start of the year. He allowed a couple of runs in the first inning and then retired with 1 out in the first inning. 20 of 21 Cardinals left after 7, and then the bullpen coughed it up. A huge hit, maybe the biggest hit of the year for Stephen Piscotty, a double with 2 out and 2 on.
That was against Fernando Rodney as they were trying to pick up a sweep. So we mentioned it's a big crowd, a lot of Cardinal fans here today. You just wonder, Tim, does it carry over at all here to Game 3? We've seen hit batters. The intensity has been dialed up. We heard about the comments after Game 1 from Joe Maddon. Will we see any of that play out today?
Partner, I'll sum it up with one word. You never know. No. Will there a definitive no is the answer to that. The damage has been done. I mean, particularly how ludicrous it was for the closer to come in. The Cubs had a 5-1 lead at the time, or 6-1 lead at the time in the top of the 9th inning. The Cardinals scored 4 runs, almost pulled it out. But Rondon was run yesterday. There's no way he was trying to hit anybody. He was trying to get the Cardinals out so they could preserve the win, and they did.
So how it ended after Garcia was hit by a pitch, the Cardinals stringed some hits together, and then Addison Russell, what a play, and what a shortstop, what a defensive player he has turned out to be in year 1 of what could be a very good career.
Yeah, and started and played 60 or so games at second base, but he is made to be a shortstop, and that's one of the reasons why. Great range at shortstop.
One of the young faces of this franchise here in Chicago. They are energetic, athletic, and have all of a sudden put it all together here in 2015.
They can hit and hit for power. They strike out a lot, but this offense can deliver runs.
Matt Carpenter in that 9th inning with a 2-run homer, number 24 yesterday. Leads the club in that category and also in RBIs with 77. Cardinals have hit just .248 this year against the Cubs, the final meeting between these two teams. Overall, he's had .264 and 2 for 8 in this series. The 30th start of the year for John Lester. League leading 19th here at home.
Okay, Dan, I hearken to the middle 60s when we would come into town with the Cardinals and play in front of 500 people and 1,500 people. Unbelievable how this franchise has emerged to one of the great franchises in the game.
And what a base that they have built.
Man.
Theo Epstein and Jed Hoyer take over, and they said to the fan base, it's going to be a little bit, but deal with us getting better. You know, we're gonna build around an Anthony Rizzo. We're going to draft well. If there's a free agent to go out and get that we think can fit for years to come, we'll do that.
Like John Lester.
And John Madden, or rather Joe Madden. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
If they got John Madden to come here, I wouldn't have a job.
And if there was a brawl, you wanted him leading the charge. John Madden be perfect. See right here, boom, hit him, boom. He'd have all the answers for a brawl. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Carpenter strikes out. That's how we start the contest. You think about John Lester, we'll take a look at his Hyundai pitch arsenal. That great cutter that he possesses.
Everything borders on a cutter inside and outside. That 2-2 pitch to Carpenter, the cutter away, and Matt couldn't catch up to it.
This has the makings of being a terrific matchup here today with the way that Lester is pitched in the second half. And Martinez coming off arguably his best start this year.
On the 1960s Cardinals, we used to play a game of lotto and figure out what inning put a bucket.
That's well hit. Deep left off the bat of Tommy Pham, and it is a home run. 1-0 St. Louis. Tommy Pham with home run number 5, and what a road trip he has had. Whew. He's now 9 for 22 and his 4th home run during this trip.
My goodness. Talk about sitting on a cutter inside. He hit that one before it cut. Fam bang. My gosh, that ball was crushed.
Sure was. Now Hayward. You were saying?
I was saying that we would put a buck in the pot and determine when a ball would be lost in the sun in right field. What inning would it be?
As Hayward pops it up left side, Bryant, that hit the wiring of the backstop and then out of play.
In Candlestick Park, everybody talked about how tough it was to play in right field, but everybody agrees that Wrigley and right is the toughest right field to play in baseball because of the sun. And a high sky today.
And basically, too, if you go down the right field line, there is zero room. Right by that wall. Maybe a half foot. Maybe. The chalk line is right there on the wall.
And there it is right there.
And then you think about how the conditions change, all afternoon. You don't know.
Sure.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Hayward. That may have fooled our home plate umpires. John Lester glares back into Alfonso Marquez, who's calling the balls and strikes.
That's an interesting point, Dan, because the minute a home plate umpire sees the curveball, he anticipates it being away. That ball was a curve that came inside to Hayward.
Hayward to short. Russell up with it, and the throw is just a little bit offline.
Yesterday, to end the game, he went to his left. Here he shows he can go to his right also. Two sparkling plays. One to end the game yesterday, and today that was a base hit, I believe, right?
It was.
Took so much to catch the ball, he couldn't make a good throw. Rizzo couldn't come up with the in-between hop.
Now it's Johnny Peralta, who is grounded into a league-high 22 double plays. Been a real tough stretch of games here. About a month and a half here for Johnny Peralta. Average has dipped to 269. Is not hit for power. He's 1 for 9 in this series.
Dan, what about Tommy Pham? What a road trip. 2 home runs and a triple against Milwaukee, and then a triple the following game for his first hit. He has been tenacious.
I think it's safe to say that he was on the bubble when you're talking about the postseason roster. Where does he fit? Does he fit? Now, how could you imagine him not being there? Throw as Hayward went in with clean baseball at second base. Boy, he takes out LaStella, and the Cubs know all about that this past week with Jung Ho Kang.
The reason this inning is continuing is because of Jason Hayward's slide. As you said, good, hard, clean baseball, and the Cardinals appreciate it.
The play I'm referring to is Chris Coughlin breaking up a double play with Kang, trying to turn it at second base with the Pirates, and his year is done, and he's already had surgery. And he came out through his agent and said, don't blame him. Don't blame Coughlin. That was just good, clean baseball, and I got hurt. The thing is, though, you don't see that kind of slide very often anymore from Jason Hayward.
You know why? Because second baseman Tommy LaStella was trying to use the bag for protection. He stepped away from the bag, and Hayward went through the bag to get him just enough for him to make that high throw to Rizzo.
Anytime I think of guys breaking up a double play, he was a batting coach with the St. Louis Cardinals for a brief time, but man, did he go hard into second. Hal McRae. Oh, boy.
Probably the toughest ever. Toughest I've ever seen.
Nasty.
Pete Rose and Bud Harrelson, the '73 playoffs in New York. Fight ensued. but it's particularly tough. A shortstop, I think we've explained this, a shortstop can see the runner coming and knows how to maneuver the feet, protect himself with the bag, cheat a little bit. Second baseman, you've got to concentrate, and your back really is to the base runner, and you don't know where he is.
The biggest lead you'll see Peralta take all year long, and they'll do that the rest of the afternoon as long as John Lester's on the mound.
Yeah.
Again, 52 attempts against Lester. They have caught 9 when he's been on the mound. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well documented his issues of throwing over to first base. And that's well hit. Deep left field, and it's 3-0 Cardinals. Stephen Piscotty, a 2-run homer. And the slide of Hayward looms large here early on to extend the inning to Piscotty to make it 3-0 St. Louis.
Attaboy, partner. That is right on the money. The slide of Jason Hayward. They ought to split the RBIs in that situation. Give 1 to Piscotty and at least 1 to Hayward. That was a hanging curveball from Lester. So Pham hits 1, and then Piscotty hits 1. Cardinals have a 3-0 lead.
It's about as animated we've seen that dugout in a first inning of any game this year. Team was really frustrated after what took place yesterday. 3 guys got hit. Wong got hit twice. He's digging in for the first time today. It's a little squibber foul off the bat of Wong. In his last 17 starts, 11 times Lester has gone at least 7 innings, and his ERA is 2.81. So this is a different pitcher than the guy that we saw on opening night here at Wrigley Field.
And a different Cardinal offense this afternoon so far.
Here's a 1-2. And a fly ball lifted out to left. Kyle Schwarber drifting near the line and off his glove in foul territory. Remember, originally drafted as a catcher, and they're trying to get that bat in the lineup any way they can.
Yeah, the wind, as it does so often here at Wrigley Field. A high sky. Schwarber not used to playing left field with this high a sky. So you've got the combination of the sun and the wind. Foul ball off the glove of Schwarber. Boy, that was close. His feet were in fair territory, but the ball was in foul territory. That was very, very close to being a fair ball.
I think the Cardinals want to take a look at this.
I think they have a point if they choose to do that. His feet were in fair territory, and the ball was in foul territory.
You could see Wong looking into the dugout, taking their time as if they wanted to review that. And a strikeout of Colton Wong in the second in the inning for John Lester. But with 1 out, it was Tommy Pham at a solo home run. His 5th of the year, 4th on the trip. Jason Hayward breaking up this double play, extending the inning thanks to that slide. Stephen Piscotty says thank you. 2-run homer, half inning in the books. Cardinals on top, 3-0. and a 3-run lead. It'll be Dexter Fowler, the switch hitter, leading it off against Carlos Martinez. The first pitch, a strike. Watch this motion of Martinez, free and easy, and what the Cardinals talked about from his last start, Tim, was finishing towards the plate.
That's what they always do. That's the first note I have. A close watch on Carlos to make sure he doesn't fall toward first after his delivery. I'm telling you, we've been working together too long.
See this.
Here it is, right here. Close watch on Carlos to make sure he doesn't fall toward first after delivery. Hello, Jesse.
I'm not trying to steal your stuff.
I do pay attention to you, know.
I know. You do your homework. Fowler, Schwarber, and Coughlin, Rizzo, Bryant, LaStella, Russell, Ross, and Lester. The starting 9 for Joe Madden.
Well, you know, that's the model that Carlos Martinez, that Yadier Molina and Mike Matheny want out of Carlos Martinez. That finishing and not toppling over toward third base. Right there. Right there. That's enough. As a matter of fact, with Martinez, he almost has to take a step backward and not forward.
The pitch at 96. For my money, it was his best start of the year last time out against Milwaukee.
I agree with that. Got a no decision after 8 innings. Cardinals won that game in 10 innings on the Hayward home run. That tremendous shot in right center.
1 ball and 2 strikes. And Molina thought he had a called third strike.
Yeah, you could almost see Molina throwing the ball back to Martinez. A lot of times it shows you how mad a catcher is at not getting that pitch.
The 2-2. I just, you know, we do all the games. We see them every single day. Just watching here the last 10 minutes, there is a different feel and look to the Cardinals. Now, the home runs obviously help that, but the intensity of which they're going about this is a little different today than maybe a Sunday afternoon in June.
I couldn't disagree with that.
The 2-2. Schwarber had the drop in left. This is where Joe Madden can be so good with young players. 3-2. And it's a 1-out walk.
That was close to going around. Martinez went with the slider. Schwarber held up in time, says home plate umpire Alfonso Marquez, and checking with Bruce Dreckman. There have been a lot of checks with umpires in this series.
Bunch. Hyundai pitch arsenal for Carlos Martinez. But I was about to say, with a guy like Schwarber, there was a game 3 weeks ago. He strikes out 4 times, and Joe puts him right back in the lineup the next day and says, look, we believe in you. We have confidence in you. And he's been really good with the young players on this team.
They bring the young players up. They're much like the Cardinals in that regard. Mike Matheny says, put them in there. Pham, Piscotty. Of course, they came up under different circumstances with injuries, I know, but similar managerial moves, the way they handle the young players.
To the count on Chris Coughlin, batting third in this lineup. 254, 16 home runs. He's driven in 41. The 0-2. Second strikeout for Martinez. A look at the Cardinals defensively this Sunday afternoon with Piscotty in left, Pham in center, Jason Hayward in right. Carpenter, Peralta, Wong, and Moss on the infield. Molina behind the plate. Martinez on the mound. That's presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. The talk of the pregame today and batting practice. Would we see players get hit today? Does games 1 and 2, does it carry over here to game 3? As Rizzo pulls it foul. Rizzo's been hit, by the way, 29 times. The next closest, Jung Ho Gung, 17.
Colton Wong is in third place with 15 hit by pitches, and he's been hit a couple of times in this series. Of course, both Wong and Rizzo stand close to the plate. When you stand close to the plate, major league pitchers are going to try to push you back, and sometimes you get hit.
Here's the 0-1. Rizzo to second on the outfield grass. Colton Wong. And a scoreless frame for Carlos Martinez. 3-0 after 1 here in Chicago. Left, Fowler in center. Coughlin is in right. Bryant, Russell, LaStella, and Rizzo on the infield. And David Ross, the personal catcher, if you will, for John Lester behind the plate. That's presented by Dobbs. Here is Yadier Molina. And Molina on the first pitch hits it out to left, and that's down for a base hit. Yadi touches the bag at first. The wide turn, he'll stop there. It's 4 hits against Lester early on.
About 3 months ago, we talked about when a hitter, particularly a right-hander, gets a base hit the other way, why doesn't he take the wide turn? And the guy who turned me on to that, we were teammates in 1979, Pete Rose. And I went back and checked, and I think I've told you this, Dan, how many 7-3 putouts there were at first base. The last one that happened in Major League Baseball was 2005. So why not take the wide turn?
Sure.
Why not go halfway?
Make them make the throw.
Make them make the throw.
The
it might be a bad throw in his haste.
Now Moss. And he looks at his strike.
Nobody could round the bag like Pete Rose.
Hard.
Nobody
hustling.
in the history of the game can round the bag like Pete.
Check swing, and he did go. Brandon Moss, 2 extra base hits on Friday, had a pair of doubles. The rest of the lineup, 2 hits, 1 extra base hit in that game on Friday. The last 2 innings, so 9th yesterday and the first inning of this ball game, 6 runs compared to the 17 and the 4 runs that the Cardinals put up to begin the series.
That's a bad pitch by Lester. He got away with one on an 0-2 count. Moss fouled it back. what pitchers and catchers try to do, they try to make an 0-2 pitch more than on any other count a pitch that looks like a strike and isn't. Make a hitter reach.
Like that.
Yes.
I'm going back to your theory. We were doing a game in St. Louis, and you made me start to think. You made me think a lot, but this one really had me think. By the way, some good, some bad.
Yeah, I know. You didn't have to say them.
But you were talking about 0-2 pitches and how we're seeing a lot of 0-2 hits this year. A little squibber hit to the left side. Bryant to second, and Molina going hard into Russell. This game has got some intensity here today. There's no doubt.
It went in hard, but, you know, he could touch the bag, and that's an umpire at second base. He determines whether he went out of the line with that. That's really a soft going into. He grabbed the bag with his right hand and took him out with his left foot. Didn't touch the bag, but he could have. A lot of action around second base. There always is.
Whether you think that's clean or not, let's just say there's intensity in this game.
Yes.
As Martinez will try to bunt Moss to second base. But just to finish the story, and if you missed it, we were talking about 0-2 pitches. And you came up with a theory that pitch counts, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but to paraphrase it, pitch counts have added to the fact that you're seeing more 0-2 hits because pitchers feel that the pitch count is coming, so why waste pitches?
That's my theory.
I think there's a lot of sense to it. Makes a lot of sense. Straight to Martinez.
Pitchers and catchers are too much in a hurry to get a hitter out. And 0-2 count gives you the luxury of getting a hitter out on something other than a strike. But in this day and age with pitch count, nobody knows what goes through a pitcher's mind.
There's a ball, 1-2. Rizzo's about a step or two off the bag at first, still holding Moss, who has a very big lead.
I mean, Carlos Martinez can handle the bat, and the middle's open out there. Second baseman covering first base. He elects to swing here.
The 1-2. A strikeout of Martinez. Third strikeout for Lester. The most popular way to follow the Cardinals' push to the postseason is with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, StatCast, live radio broadcast, and more. It's at MLB.com right now.
Yeah, pitchers don't have the luxury of arguing call third strikes like a guy like Matt Carpenter would. Martinez hanging around the plate very long. You don't want to do that with a home plate umpire.
I was going to say that's not advisable.
No.
Moss to second base, and the tag is there. The umpire, Dan Bellino, saying that the tag was on the back.
If he made the tag, it was a terrific tag, I'll tell you. Moss sliding between his legs. Good call.
Well, that's a great play by Addison Russell. Wow, what a play for the Cubs shortstop. We saw it yesterday and again this afternoon. 3-0 midway through 2. 0-1 pitch from Carlos Martinez. Quickly 0-2 on Chris Bryant. His last 30 games, 9 home runs for Bryant. He's up to 25. He's driven in 95. That's tops on the club. And an 0-2. Those 25 home runs tied with Billy Williams, most by a Cubs rookie. The 1-2 by Martinez strikes out Bryant, and his third already today. Let's take a look at Tim McCarver's Toyota keys to the game.
Well, it's pretty clear that the Cardinals have a twofold mission going through early October, the end of the season, to get the pitching straightened out and to win the division.
The pitching, Tim, has been so good that it's overshadowed the issues in many ways of the offense. When you keep winning, you don't pick out the little things that bother a club.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ground ball hit sharply to Colton Wong off the bat of Tommy La Stella, and there's 2 down. A lot of credit goes to Derek Lilliquist as his pitching staff, and collectively, not just the starters, but the bullpen has been very good this year.
Showed it on the opening. The Cardinals in September, a 5.26 earned run average after having the lowest earned run average for 5 months of the season.
We have seen some athleticism from this young man, have we not? Addison Russell.
Telling you.
Lance Lynn, John Lackey, Michael Wacha was the pitcher yesterday. Jaime Garcia.
Jaime goes tomorrow in St. Louis when the Cardinals return home. Their longest road trip of the season. 11 days, 10 games. 5-5 on this trip.
Broken bat, and it's caught by Matt Carpenter. 1-2-3 inning for Carlos Martinez. Top of the lineup due up when we come back.
Yes, you are, and you're right.
But I think this is the case.
That is the case. Explain.
Okay, so Mike Matheny, between innings, there is our first base umpire. Either nature called or he went down to talk to the grounds crew And Mike Matheny, I think, is complaining that it is too wet at first base.
Right on the money, partner.
I watched them. I don't know why I did this, but today I actually did watch them water the infield. And they started on the third base side and then finished up at first. And it would make a lot of sense with John Lester on the mound, all the big leads, the steals against him, the attempts, that, you know, a home team might want to water that up and make it a little bit tougher
that's
to
one
get
of the
that
reasons.
jump.
So that's one of the reasons you're so boring 20 minutes before the game. You're watching the ground crew water around first base. I've always thought, you know, why does he do this? Transfixed.
Tim, I've got issues. There's no doubt about it. Pat, help me. Help me. What do you got for us?
I'm actually right by first base, and I can tell you that it was very wet, Dan, but now they've got the diamond dry on it. Mike Matheny, by the way, talking before the game, I asked him about the carryover effect, if there was going to be any from yesterday's loss. Of course, he said yesterday that probably was going to be his favorite win of the season, but they came up short. There was a lot of stuff happening. 3 Cardinals hit by Cub pitchers, and so was that carryover going to take place today? He said the only carryover he wanted to take place today was the offense that they showed in that 9th inning, and it carried over to the 1st inning. But we've already seen with some hard slides at second base, and which is the vibe you get in the stadium today, guys, that there's a carryover in that aspect as well.
Interesting that the grounds crew and the first base umpire did agree with the first base umpire, because many times that's not going to happen. The umpire will look at it and say, no. We're moving on.
Your point is right on the money, because with any other pitcher but Lester, Mike Matheny would say nothing.
Exactly. Little flare into right. That drops in for a hit. Carpenter thinking two. Barehanded by Coughlin. Throwing to second. It's a double. 39 doubles this year for Matt Carpenter. Second most in the National League, behind Todd Frazier as 41.
Great base running by Carpenter. Running around that smoother, drier first base right there. Off the end of the bat. Good play by Coughlin. Watch. Barehanded and throwing it, but off balance. And that's why Mike Carpenter's at second base and not at first. Really good base running there.
So here's Tommy Pham. Hit a solo home run to left. His first time up, his 5th of the year. Now with 16 RBIs. Pham bunting, and it's pushed foul. Tommy Pham right now the hottest hitter in this Cardinals lineup. 9 for 22 on the road trip with 4 home runs.
I bet you didn't think that in game 1 10 days ago, that Tommy Pham in game 10 would be the hottest hitter for the Cardinals on this trip.
No. For a while, Tim, he wasn't playing.
Yeah.
You know, John Jay was getting those starts. Or Brandon Moss in left field, where Pham can play left, he can play right. And today he is in center. Here's an 0-2 pitch. Not much of a difference with left-handed pitching and rather hitting and right-handed hitting. Right-handers hitting 239, the lefties 259. Off of John Lester. What an interesting start this has been. A couple of hard slides at second base. I think the mannerisms of Martinez, he's amped up.
Drying the area around first base.
A little gamesmanship there.
Yep.
We started the series by saying it's meaningful baseball between the two teams in September. We haven't said that very often in the last 5 years.
Not between these two teams. More often than not, the Cardinals had clinched a postseason berth, or were on their way to clinching it. 5 years in a row, they'll be in the postseason in 12 of 16 years.
That's incredible.
Remarkable.
2-2 pitch. Mike Matheny, the first manager to lead his team into the playoffs in his first 4 full seasons ever. It's never been done until Matheny has done that after the loss by San Francisco yesterday. Magic number stands at 11 with 14 to play as Pham strikes out.
That was an angry fastball to get Tommy Pham by John Lester. You know, just looking around and the housetops across the street on Waveland, my gosh, about 42,000 people and another 3,000 or 4,000 on the rooftops around Wrigley.
As you were saying earlier, 500, 1,500 people come to watch you guys play.
Oh yeah, you knew their names. I know you. You're Fred. You live on the south side. But you know, in 1906, the Cubs drew more people than they did in 1966.
It's incredible.
Think about that. 1906, the Cubs drew more people at Weigman Park than they did in 1966 at Wrigley Field.
That's amazing.
It really is.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Hayward. Carpenter, your runner at second base. Long look. Now time is called. We talk about stealing from first to second. Why not do it from second to third?
Take as long a lead from second, and sometimes even longer. Even if the shortstop holds you on, and the first baseman's holding you on. It's a shorter throw for a left-hander.
Just wonder how frustrating a year this has been for Lester, as he was basically exposed in game 1 of this season. The Red Sox and the A's did a great job of keeping it under the wraps.
Protecting him, absolutely. I mean, nobody knew it existed until he signed the free agent contract with the Cubs, and Carpenter over there talking to Oquendo, how far do I get off? Even usually a third base coach will say, you're all right, you're all right, you're all right, unless the shortstop comes behind the runner at second base. But now things change. I'm not sure Oquendo would say that to Carpenter at second base. So the whole machination changes.
43 stolen bases against him this year. But the pressure that he must feel mentally, he must be exhausted after this 6-month journey, and knowing, okay, in every 5th day teams are going to be running against me, and how perfect then do I need to be on the mound? And just everything that goes into that. And that's a mental grind and a worry.
Not only that, Dan, but the Cubs are going to make it to the postseason unless they have the most major collapse in the history of the game. But think it's not going to be a story in postseason? That'll be the only story if he starts.
3-2 the count on Hayward. Picked up an infield hit, and then broke up a potential double play to extend the inning for Piscotty, who hit a 2-run homer. A 3-2 pitch to Hayward. So John Lester, this wasn't always an issue for him, but 43 stolen bases allowed, most in the National League. He's made a couple of errors. From our understanding is that the Red Sox would take him in Fort Myers, where they have their spring training home, and early in the mornings they take him on the backfields when this started to show itself, to work on pickoff plays. So he was not around the media, wasn't around many players. 3-2. Hayward is swing and a miss, but that's what he can do. He's got great stuff. So 5 strikeouts for Lester as we talk about the great run of St. Louis and this amazing run for the Cardinals since 2000. No team can lay claim to that. And Tim, you know as well as anybody. I mean, it's so tough to win in this game, much less do it with consistency over this long of a period.
In fairness, a little easier than it is to win World Series after another. Prior to 1969, when if you won it, you were in the World Series. But since divisional play started, it has its own kind of pressure to continue to be good. And the draft system rewards the teams that are not good. And they get the best players. That's one of the reasons Houston is making such loud noise this year, or Toronto, for instance.
Or the Cubs with a Chris Bryant.
Or the Cubs, yeah. And Addison Russell, of course, that was a trade. But the Oakland Athletics were good because he came from the Athletics. The Athletics were good because of the draft, finishing poorly so many years in a row.
2 balls and no strikes. It's interesting. There are some, and Rob Manfred, the new commissioner of baseball, who's been very open to at least discussing and reevaluating different issues in the game. There are some that believe that you should do without a divisional play. Take that out of the game, go to National League and American League, and then reseed as you go in the playoffs so that you don't have a situation where you've got the 3 best records in one league, like in the National League Central, and then all of a sudden one game, one of those teams is out. It's interesting.
Well, I don't think the format should be changed because of an aberration of having 3 teams in the same division having to play the 1-game playoff. I think you need more evidence, seems to me.
Sure.
Before you make a dramatic move like that.
2-1 to count. 3-0 our score. That's ripped and past Addison Russell into left. Carpenter will score. Peralta makes it 4-0 with RBI number 63.
Well, the Cardinals figured that if you hit balls close to Addison Russell, he's going to make the play. So what do? Hit it through him. This ball was a laser. What a smoked. I mean, Russell didn't have a chance to react.
Now it's Piscotty with a 2-run homer today. Think about how this run has been generated for the Cardinals. That was a hustling double by Matt Carpenter out of the box.
So we've seen a hustling double that led to a run, perhaps, and the takeout slide by Jason Hayward that led to the 2-run home run with Piscotty homering with 2 outs.
0-2 the count.
We were kidding about it between innings, saying there used to be a show on television called To Tell the Truth. And at the end, they would say, would the real so-and-so stand up? Well, would the real St. Louis Cardinals stand up? Because they are a different team so far this afternoon.
There's an edge to them today.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the 0-2 pitch to Piscotty. You need to take a look, and I'm sure that Tommy, our fine director, award-winning director,
yes,
will shoot Johnny Peralta here at first base. I've never seen him take a lead this big.
No.
Ever. That last pitch, he was 15 feet off the bat. At least.
To the point where you have to worry about the throw behind you then from David Ross.
And Lester throws over, and they've got him in a rundown.
First time we've seen that this season.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, we have an issue at first. We also have an issue here at second. And the grounds crew is out working on the bag at second base. I would imagine, too, from the Cardinals' perspective, they have zero issue with Peralta getting picked off. You know what? Go for it.
No, you've got a 4-run lead. That's the time to test Lester.
Sure. Cardinals and McDonald's teaming up to bring fans an extra value deal that can't be beat. Fans can purchase tickets for just $5 each to the Red Series. September 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Tickets are on sale now at cardinals.com/McDonald's. You do it. You go for it.
Absolutely. And Lester was none too pleased, glaring over at the Cardinal dugout. I didn't see it, Dan. You picked up on that when the inning was over. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Not run on him? I'm sure some of the Cardinals are on the way these first two games have been played, standing on the top steps saying,
sure.
Who do you think you are? We can't do that?
Well, when you watch on TV, I always find it interesting, and Martinez will face Ross, Lester, and Fowler. You don't hear what's going on inside that dugout.
That's
There's
right.
more John going down there than you can imagine.
That's right. That's right. Or glares or that speak thousands of words.
Round ball and off of Carpenter, stays with it and makes the play. He's playing in for David Ross. Coupled with the fact that it was hit sharply, and makes the play. John Lester has 2 hits this year. Both hits have been against St. Louis. He is 2 for 55. Boy, we've had some action in this game.
I'm telling you, this is a very entertaining 2.5 innings.
Agreed.
That we have seen today.
Boy, Martinez, just watching the delivery to the plate, it is free and easy and a lot more compact than some of the other starts we have seen. I mean, look at that, just free and easy.
Not trying to do too much.
1 ball, 1 strike on Lester. One of his hits, by the way, is against Carlos Martinez. That was at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, and the other was against his good friend John Lackey, those two teammates with the Boston Red Sox.
Heard that expression, Cardinal sin? 3-1 on Lester's enough. You cannot walk him here.
He has walked 1. That was Schwarber. And it is a base hit past Peralta into center field. One out hit. John Lester back to the top of the lineup. Now time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo using the hashtag MWDataStrongFan. And you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile.
Believe me, folks, we're not trying to add too much to this telecast, but what about, pardon me, what about John Lester even swinging at a 3-1 pitch?
Good point. Take it to 3-2. Then take your chances.
Yeah.
Won the count on Dexter Fowler. Always a treat too at the conversation at the bag at first, where sometimes a message can be delivered. You know, a player gets to first base, they talk to the first baseman. You give me that goofy look. I'm telling you,
it's not a goofy look. It's a look, though. I'll explain what that looks all about.
Do I want to know?
Yes.
One or two.
In my opinion, not one word that has ever been said between the base runner and the first baseman has ever meant anything. Ever. In the history of the game, in the history of conversations. What Lester says to Moss means nothing.
Ooh, doesn't get the call.
And that goes for any conversation that you've ever seen or thought, what are they talking about? It means nothing. Close pitch.
Nothing, huh?
Nothing.
What if, and I'm just going to throw this out.
Devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Right.
What if Lester is saying, I'm not saying that this is what he's doing today, but what if he says, hey, Joe Blow better keep his mouth shut or he's going to find one in his ear?
He would not say that to Brandon Moss. So he says something else. He wouldn't say that. Conversation's never about that.
And there's a wall. Martinez a little frustrated here with his strike zone. A couple of his reactions we saw, and you pointed out the reaction he had at the plate. Thought he had a strikeout at Schwarber in the first, wound up walking him, and now a walk to Fowler. One swing of the bat, and the Cubs are right back in this game.
Schwarber with 16 home runs in an astounding few at bats. He'll strike out a lot. Matter of fact, the Cubs have struck out more than any other major league team. One strikeout per 4.08 at bats.
So they lead the National League.
Yeah, the majors. The majors, yeah.
It's worth repeating what you said to me about Billy Williams and Kyle Schwarber for those that did not hear it.
Kyle Schwarber, in my opinion, my observation, has the quickest bat in the National League since Billy Williams in 1961.
And he rips it out to right field, but there's Hayward. Makes the catch, and Lester still at the bag at second base. Turn on that pitch pretty quickly.
Lightning hands. Billy Williams, when he first came up, and as we said, he was the Rookie of the Year in 1961. And the Cubs, you could see them building. They got Ron Santo. They traded for Ernie Banks, who won the MVP in 58 and 59. Ferguson Jenkins later, Bill Hands, Kenny Holtzman. But Billy Williams' nickname was Sleepy. And his eyes squinted until the ball was about 12 feet from the hitting zone. And they got really big then. I mean, really big. But his nickname was Sleepy for a number of years. They didn't keep it with him, I'll tell you.
What a great player.
Oh, boy, lightning hands. 10 home runs lifetime against our pal Bob Gibson, the most of anybody.
Right. Runners at first and second with 2 outs and 0-1 the count on Chris Coghlan. Struck out swinging first time up. Martinez is set, and here's a 1-1 pitch.
Key batter right here early, 4-run lead, but Coghlan gets on. That means Anthony Rizzo is hitting, representing the potential tying run.
Rizzo with 30 home runs this year. 1-2 the count. Martinez cannot believe he did not get that strike call, and he hit the deck on his knees, and the home plate umpire now giving it to Carlos Martinez.
See, that's what happens when you argue at home plate. Leave the home plate umpire alone until you have a point, and he has a point right here. But Alfonso Marquez already upset because Carlos showed him up, perhaps in Marquez's mind. Not only control of your pitches, but control of your emotions.
The 2-2.
Tried to throw that through a brick wall.
Sure did. This becomes a very big pitch right here. Third walk in the game, second in the inning, and here comes Mike Matheny. This will be a very pointed conversation.
Absolutely. So many things that Mike has to be an amateur psychologist right here. The same with Molina. They've done this before. Try to get back to the way it was before he missed the strike in Martinez's situation when he was at the plate, and then the 1-2 pitch to Cotton.
I can understand the emotions when you're on the mound, but when he's at the plate, put your head down and just walk back to the dugout.
That's right. That's exactly right. Well, if Rizzo cranks one, even a base hit, now you wonder whether Martinez can even stay in the game if he's backing up home plate, passing by Marquez.
This crowd has come alive. First pitch out of play.
I mean, this at bat may keep Martinez in the game, knowing how volatile he is from an emotional standpoint.
Rizzo grounded out sharply to second his first time up. Not saying he would throw this pitch here. However, in the last start with Carlos Martinez, Adam Lind, 3-1, bases loaded, game on the line. He went with a changeup and got him to ground out. We'll see if that's the call here. The middle, Peralta off his glove. 2 runs will score. A play away from being out of the inning. Cubs back in the game.
If there's any Cub that you would shift against, it would be Anthony Rizzo. He grounded to second, pulling the ball his last time up. A little surprised that Johnny wasn't playing more up the middle for Rizzo, but 2 runs score. And it's now a 4-2 ball game. Martinez couldn't come up with it. Peralta slowed it down, but it trickles into center field, allowing the runner at second to score.
Bryant at the plate. Strike one. Runners at first and third with 2 outs.
I don't think you take a chance throwing Bryant anything other than the slider right now. Some guys are set up for that pitch. You don't need anything else. You don't need a fastball inside to brush him back. Martinez has 8 wild pitches on the year, and all of them have come on sliders. Boring this game is not.
No, sir.
Oh.
What an atmosphere. The 0-2. He got out. 4 strikeouts from Martinez. And look at Molina asking Martinez to visit with the home plate umpire as he heads into the dugout. Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Boys and Girls Clubs help young people to reach their full potential. For more information, visit foxsportssupports.com. Just a moment ago, it was Joe Madden visiting with Alfonso Marquez. We both were talking in between innings as Piscotty lines it foul. We had never seen a pitcher and then have the catcher have the umpire get together and, hey, let's talk this thing over.
Yeah. And Carlos, tell Alfonso how you really feel. Well, maybe hide those emotions a little bit.
Wow.
What an eventful 3 innings.
Incredible. Cubs back in this game. It's now 4-2. Lester has struck out 5. The RBIs today from Pham, Piscotty, and Peralta. Stephen Piscotty, 2-run homer back in the first.
In no other time since John Lester has started has he been responsible for a hit that led to 2 runs in an inning.
Nope, hasn't happened. Certainly not this year.
A one out base runner, and that led to the volatility of Martinez and the 2 runs driven in by Rizzo.
The 2-2 to Stephen Piscotty. It's cliche, but today it's true. This is a playoff type feel and atmosphere to the game.
No question about it. More than any game the Cardinals have played this year.
Agreed. Could you imagine these 2 teams meeting in the playoffs?
I can only imagine. What made the crowd think that is that Ross was off the plate away and he hit his mitt.
Not reaching for it.
Clearly a ball.
The 3-2 pitch to Stephen Piscotty. And he walked him. Well, let's see what kind of lead Piscotty takes after Lester picked off Johnny Peralta to end the top of the 3rd. Here's your DraftKings players to watch update. National League home runs by 3rd baseman Arenado with 39, Todd Frazier 35, Bryant the Cubs with 25, and Carpenter, the surprising one on that list, with 24. And Piscotty, pretty big lead at first base. Has 2 stolen bases this year. Has not been caught. I find this part of the game with John Lester, what the Cardinals are trying to do to him, fascinating.
I do too. Just can't remember any time in recent history or past history, any history.
A pick off, and they got it.
So that's the danger. We talked about it last inning. The danger of taking a big lead is that now you've got to worry about Ross throwing behind the left-handed batter. That was a perfect strike to Rizzo at first base. You can see how far Piscotty is. And he was out.
So 2 Cardinals have been picked off.
You know, the only thing is, did the glove of Anthony Rizzo hit the ground before he touched Piscotty's arm?
That's why we had a delay. The Cardinals were waiting to see if they wanted to review that. Rizzo to Lester for the out. Two down, and it brings in Molina, who is single to left field.
It just changes the nature of the game because people are wondering, well, wait a minute, my 8-year-old son can throw the ball from the mound to first base. What's the big deal?
Right.
It's not a physical thing, obviously. It's from the neck up.
The 1-0. Molina pops it up. Rizzo shading from the sun and the outfield grass and puts it away. Piscotty, a leadoff walk, then tipped off by David Ross. Wong grounds out. Molina pops out. It's 4-2. And the last inning saw Carlos Martinez have a visit with him, and then after the third out moments ago for John Lester, he has a conversation with Mr. Marquez.
Visitation rights.
Like you said, let's get dinner reservations, get everybody in a room.
Take him to dinner, for crying out loud. That's an old baseball expression used when opponents talk to one another, but now it's among pitchers and home plate. I'm telling you, what a game.
Taken high by Tommy La Stella. La Stella grounded out to second. We'll see Addison Russell and David Ross. 6, 7, and 8 for the Cubs. Crazy game. Joe Madden, 87 wins in his first year. Only 3 managers in the history of the Cubs in their first year have recorded more wins. A single into center field. The bag at second. It's been a busy place. That was Hayward breaking up a double play. Led to a 2-run homer. Molina. Hard into Russell. Great play by Russell to tag out Brandon Moss. Busy, busy, busy.
Busy at first, too, with 2 pickoff throws. One of Peralta, the other of Piscotty.
Strike 2, Addison Russell. Lined out to third. Martinez broke his back. Hayward is pretty deep in right field for a 7th place hitter that's primarily batted 9th all year, but with the lineup featuring John Lester, Lester will bat 9th.
Yeah, Jason Hayward's had enough experience in the National League. You can see how deep he is. The wind's blowing in, and outfielders have to constantly check the flags in this ballpark.
0-2. Grounded to the left side. Peralta does get the lead man. Walk quickly off that bag at second base. Nice play by Johnny. Short hop, backhanded.
That's when your second baseman becomes a first baseman with the stretch. May seem routine. Good play by Peralta.
So David Ross is up. He grounded out to third. Carpenter is 2-3 steps off the line at third base. He'll hold it first. Anytime now a pitch is around the body, you're going to hear the oohs and ahs from the crowd. 2-0 the count.
Got to have a visit with the fans and say, now let's have a kumbaya here.
The kumbaya. Huh?
Kumbaya, yeah. Kumbaya route. Say with a 4-2 lead in a game that's necessary, he is not knocking down a 189 hitter.
Popped up. Wong. 2 down, and it brings in Lester. I happen to agree with you on this one. Different score, and you say, well, maybe, but not 4-2.
No, not a 189 hitter in David Ross. Nothing but David. He's a fine catcher and a guy who's had a great career, but I mean,
put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
Here's John Lester. Started a rally for Chicago in the third when they picked up their 2 runs with a base hit. From what I've seen, John Lester swings the bat better than a guy that's got just 3 hits this year.
Yeah,
maybe because he's got the 3 hits against the Cardinals.
3 hits in his career. As you said earlier, all against St. Louis.
Oh. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The importance of these starts, not just from the team perspective, but also for Martinez and where his future may lie coming up in postseason play. Bullpen, is he in the rotation? Lynn has been struggling here. Chopped off the plate and taken in fair territory by Moss, who tags out Lester.
Good play. Got it before it went foul.
We enter the 5th, 4-2 St. Louis. All right, guys, looking forward to it. Brandon Moss, Carlos Martinez, and Matt Carpenter for the Cardinals. What has been a very entertaining ball game so far. 5th inning rolls in. The first pitch is hit back to Lester through him, and there's Addison Russell.
That's one situation where the Cardinals are wishing Lester had fielded the ball.
It's a great point. Has to make the throw.
Yeah.
AT&T Reverse Rewind, and home runs have been a story early on for the Cardinals. Tommy Pham, second batter of the game. And then it was Stephen Piscotty, a 2-run homer after Hayward had broken up what would have been an inning-ending double play. Extended that inning to Piscotty, and he delivered with a home run, his 5th this year. A strike to Carlos Martinez. So much of the focus has been on the young players, and rightfully so, of Chicago, but boy, the young players of the Cardinals have stepped up big.
Where in the world would the Cardinals be without Pham and Piscotty?
And I understand why,
Grichuk,
from a national perspective, Joe Maddon gets so much credit. It's the Cubs. They haven't won. He's great with the media. As Martinez hits it towards second, backhanded by Tommy La Stella. But if the Cardinals win the division, and if they have the best record in baseball, shouldn't more attention be given towards Mike Matheny?
Mike Matheny's the manager of the year, in my view. He's the manager of the year. To me, it's plain and simple. If the Cardinals win the division, now if the Cubs come from behind and work miracles and Maddon does it, I think Maddon should be.
I mean, with all the injuries.
But nothing is said about Matheny. I mean, it's just unfair, I think.
I think the success of the Cardinals has hindered Matheny's perception.
Very good point, Dan.
National.
Very, very good point.
It's kind of like, well, it's the Cardinals. They're supposed to do this.
They're supposed to do this, yeah.
But he's done a great job keeping it all together. 0-1 the count on Matt Carpenter, who has struck out and also hit a soft double into shallow right.
Yeah, you know, that's a very interesting point, isn't it? I mean, sometimes it's the brand name of the Cardinals is so strong that it almost doesn't quite give personal achievement a chance, because the organization, the brand name, it's so powerful. It's expected, yeah.
You lose Wainwright, Adams, Holiday, Grichuk for a significant period. That's a lot to overcome.
Yeah, a lot of people probably think, even in the press, national press, well, it's the Cardinals. They're expecting. It's not. It goes from the Cardinals first and then Mike Matheny, because the Cardinals are such a powerful brand name and are so successful all the time. So I think in their minds it may be, well, the Cardinals are going to win anyway because they're the Cardinals.
Right.
Well, I mean, whoever's managing the Cardinals has something to do with that, and in Matheny's case, a great deal to do with it.
The 2-2. And we talk to other members of the media all the time, daily. I get it. I mean, I understand why Joe Maddon gets so much attention. He's fun. He's glib.
Smart. Good manager.
Very good manager.
2 times he's won the Manager of the Year award.
But at some point, Mike Matheny's got to get some type of recognition for what he's done this year.
Absolutely.
The 2-2. Carpenter pulls it foul. He broke his bat again. So 2 broken bats and 1 plate appearance.
Day road trip. I wonder if Matt has another game bat. A lot of times at the end of a trip, and he's looking, he's checking right now. He might be down to his last one.
How many would you take on a trip?
It depends on whether I was only catching Carlton or I was a regular for the Cardinals. I'd say on a 10-day trip, I'd take 6.
6 bets. Yeah, that should cover you.
Well, it should, but depending on whether nasty left-handers were throwing sinkers in on your hands or not.
You got Koufax and a few others out there on the West Coast. Can make it a little tough. So 2-2 the count here on Carpenter.
Only reason regular players arrive early at the ballpark is to make sure that pitchers don't pick up their bats. A lot of times pitchers are hitting and you come out there and one of them's got your game back. You want to choke them. Give me my game back.
3-2 is hit to the right side, taken there by LaStella, and the Cardinals go in order. It's 5 in a row sent down by John Lester. Martinez back to work when we come back to Wrigley. Cooper Tires is proud to present Fireworks Night. That'll be Friday, September 25th, the Cardinals and the Brewers. The final homestand of the season is coming up, and a Fireworks Night will be this Friday. Tradition meets today, St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Fowler, Schwarber, and Chris Coghlan. Dexter Fowler has struck out and walked and scored back in the third. It's a bases loaded single by Rizzo that scored 2 to get the Cubs on the board. As Moss steps on the bag, and there's one away here in the bottom of 5. So with one out, let's take a look at Arcia in the driver's seat. Closer look at the rookies of Chicago and the power that they possess. 63 home runs hit by the rookies. Tops by a wide margin in Major League Baseball. High fly ball, left field. Will it carry out of here? Piscotty is at the wall and he's got it up against the ivy. Steven is finding out there's no give on that wall.
Well, that lightning bat that we talked about before, Schwarber's first time up, ended up walking. That's an example. Very good play by Stephen Piscotty. It's not a routine play. You get tangled up in the vines, you It's a weird feeling. You have no feeling like that in any other ballpark in baseball with the vines growing.
And Tim, too, it's coming off a left-hander's bat.
Yes.
So it's going to tail to the line, and the wind is blowing that way, too.
Wind's blowing toward left field, right. Not out to left, but from right to left.
Tyler Lyons begins to throw in the Cardinals' pen. Chris Coughlin at the plate, and a ground ball that's pulled foul.
A lot of times, even starting pitchers, they get very sensitive about it when the bullpens are on the field like this, because they hear that pop of the glove down there, and he's saying, "Wait a minute, what's going on? Somebody's warming up for me," you know. But often, it's the left-hander who's just throwing between starts. He's getting his throwing in early. That used to be a telltale sign in this ballpark, especially if it was the 5th inning. And
pops the glove there.
And a guy has the lead because he's thinking, I might be taken out before 5.
More than 440,000 Americans die each year from smoking-related illnesses, including cancer, heart disease, and stroke. 10,000 in Missouri alone. Call the Missouri Tobacco Quit line to quit now at 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Here's Tommy Pham in the heart of the order for the Cardinals. Pham, Hayward, and Peralta. Big sweeping breaking ball drops in for a strike, and it's 1-1. So 5 strikeouts today for John Lester. He's walked 1 and then picked off Piscotty. David Ross was able to do that from behind home plate and erase that walk. 1-2 the count. Pham is homered. There was a solo shot back in the first and also struck out. We are in the 6th of a 4-2 game. You were talking about the sunshine in particular. Day games here all the time. Right field. Tough sun field. What about the shadows that eventually make their way to home plate?
Probably the bottom of the 7th that'll happen. This national treasure of a ballpark, Wrigley Field, but it's tough. Once those shadows, then the outfielder on balls to the outfield, it's really difficult. See the ball coming from a dark background, going up in the sky. Sun a problem. changes the way the game is played on day games here.
Sure does. Pham took a foul ball off his leg. Finally getting a chance to see what Tommy Pham has to offer, and so much has been talked about him over the years. I remember 5 years ago the Cardinals said, this guy Pham, he's not a bad player, we just can't keep him healthy. Now healthy and producing here at the major league level. A lot of bus rides, a lot of long trips, a lot of years in the minor leagues. 3-2.
Almost 3,000 at bats in the minor leagues. Sometimes you take like you hit, and that was a tough take by Pham, young player. Lester wanted the pitch. If you expand that strike zone for him and make the plate 19 or 20 inches wide instead of its normal 17, it will be a strike. That pitch was outside.
See Lester glaring back into Alfonso Marquez. He's been right in the middle of things. Both pitchers all day. There's Jason Hayward. That pitch taken for a ball. The previous pitch to a right-hander was just outside. That pitch just outside to a left-handed batter. Pham is leading. 1 ball, 1 strike.
We'll say this too, Dan. Some umpires make it more difficult for the next umpire to get behind home plate, because some umpires are so lenient they'll give a pitcher that pitch on the outside off the plate by an inch or two, whereas the other umpire, now all of a sudden he's umpiring the game, and Lester wants that one too. Now Ross is out to talk, and Lester's livid. But you've got to understand, particularly if you're a veteran pitcher, that umpires have different strike zones. It's that simple. Some guys favor the hitter, other guys favor the pitcher.
If you're the Cardinals, you know Lester is hot right now. 2 balls, 1 strike. Traditionally a running count in the game, not so much anymore, but it was for a long number of years. Now they'll wait for Marquez to break it up. You think about sending Pham here?
Yes.
Testing him?
Yes, I think that's a valid point. You have a 2-run lead, you take more chances.
He's a little unnerved right now.
Even the young players, of course, aware of Lester's throwing problems to first base.
He is leaning. The 2-1. Hit out of play.
Now it's not a running situation. 2-1 is, 2-2 isn't. Why isn't 2-2? Because if the next pitch is a ball, then the 3-2 pitch you're going to run anyway.
So now 3-2. Let's see if they start the runner. There he goes, and it's tapped foul. Tommy Pham with 1 stolen base this year. He's not been caught stealing. Lester had 97 pitches. Very big lead at first. Off and running, and the 3-2 is fouled back.
I remember once Robin Roberts, a great Hall of Famers, won 20 games 7 years in a row. He said someone asked him, Robin, how do you pitch Willie Mays? Robin said, what's the count and what's the score? Two great questions. Well, the count has a lot to do with running situations also in baseball, depending on whether you send the runner or not. And again, a running situation.
Leaning towards second, big lead. 3-2, great jump, and it's fouled back again.
Jason Hayward is wearing out Tommy Pham.
Yes.
Tommy's probably thinking, put the ball in play, will you?
8 pitches this at bat. Next pitch will be number 100 from Lester. Very interesting how Joe Madden used Lester in a previous start against the Cardinals. Rolling along and then took him out. We thought, well, you might be doing the Cardinals a favor, and sure enough, he did. Cardinals came back in that game. There goes Pham. And it's a strikeout of Hayward. Stolen base for Tommy Pham is number 2.
Jason Hayward totally fooled by the pitch. It was a curveball, a rare curveball from Lester. Tommy Pham steals second base easily, uncontested. What a game. I mean, the weird twists and turns, even foibles of both pitchers.
I'm thinking about this. You know, you're Johnny Peralta. You got great speed at second base and Pham. Would you just take one pitch maybe to see if he would steal third? Then a sac fly and you're up 5-2.
I don't think so, because Johnny Peralta, that one pitch that he takes could be the pitch that he drives out of this ballpark.
Sure. Right-hander begins to throw in the Cubs bullpen.
If Tommy wants to run, he runs on his own. Take off anytime, but I'm hitting.
That's Hunter. You saw him in game 1 of this series. A 2-0. Baseball is such a funny game too. You think about Danny Herron. It's on a short leash Friday. Yesterday, bullpen start, yet the Cardinals pick up 4 early runs against the guy you'd think would be the toughest on paper this series this weekend.
Yeah.
And John Lester. Pitch number 104 of the afternoon. The 2-1 to Peralta.
Pham's close to running at second base.
He sure is.
Because Oquendo is watching the second baseman. The shortstop's out of the play. There's only one guy who's protecting at second base, and that's Tommy La Stella. But if he backs off prematurely, Oquendo should have a word sign.
Peralta strikes out.
Now it's moved with 2 outs.
Let's check in with Pat Paris.
Well, Dan and Tim, you guys were talking earlier about Tommy Pham, Stephen Piscotty, how much playing time they've gotten, how big of a role they've played for the Cardinals, and they've softened the blow of missing a guy like Matt Holliday. Well, Matt Holliday today, we saw him running the bases as hard as we've seen him run since the quadriceps injury the second time around. And in fact, Mike Matheny said after the situation where Holliday was running the bases home to first, first to second, first to third, that he thought that Matt Holliday checked out pretty good today. And in fact, if he checks out fine tomorrow, we could see him back in the lineup very soon. It's a stark contrast to where Matt Holliday was 2 or 3 days ago, where he was so frustrated that the progress was slow, but apparently things are going well now that he's ramped up his running.
All right, Pat, thank you. And Matt telling me when we were in Milwaukee, it's the day after he does these running drills, and you're going to see it right here. This is around 11:30 or so here at Wrigley Field, and not to call it a setback, that would not be the right way to characterize it, but he says the next day sometimes he'll wake up, gets to the ballpark, and there's still that lingering issue that he has with the thigh, and he said, I'm not going to play left field and cost my ball club a team if I cannot play at 100% and go get a ball in the gap. I'm not going to do it. And so he's been relegated to being a pinch hitter on this road trip, but close to returning.
Cardinals and Matt both extra cautious because he has already gone down once. Stands to reason. Common sense will tell you that makes them more gun shy than they normally would be.
I wonder if they pitch around Piscotty here and deal with Colton Wong. Piscotty a 2-run homer, and then Walkton was picked off by David Ross. Ross sets up about a foot outside. That's what they're doing. They're pitching around Piscotty.
Yep. Might as well go ahead and walk him here because they're not going to give him a good pitch to hit. Again, way outside.
So Lester has issued after this pitch 2 walks, and both have been to Piscotty. So it sets up the lefty-lefty matchup here with Colton Wong. A reminder that StubHub is an app that's personalized just for you. StubHub app, you can select your favorite teams and artists and discover new ones too. It's the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals. Well over a month since the last home run for Colton Wong. And a fly ball that's lifted into shallow right center field. Fowler is there. Remaining schedules for St. Louis, Pittsburgh, and Chicago. Pittsburgh will play later tonight against Los Angeles. The Cardinals, taking on teams that are below 500, but that could be dangerous. The one series that stands out clearly, the 3 games at Pittsburgh.
That'll be next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Not tomorrow, but in 8 days.
Lead of 4 over Pittsburgh, 5 in front of Chicago. That tails in for a strike to Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo, 5th in home runs in the National League, 5th in doubles, 5th in on-base percentage, and first on many of those lists, those categories, Bryce Harper. What a year he's had.
And yet the Washington Nationals, are they 8.5 back going into the play today? 8.5 behind the New York Mets.
Here's a 1-2.
I beg your pardon, 7 games behind the New York Mets.
I mean, Matt Williams could go from being the smartest guy in the room, winning the Manager of the Year, to fired. Could happen. As Rizzo grounds out to second. Expectations so high with Washington and that great lineup, and it'll be interesting to see what they do with this offseason. They've got a number of players up for free agency. This, with that core group, could be their final run with that group. Ian Desmond, a free agent to be. Some of their starters. There's Chris Bryant, who is 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Bryant is 4th in RBIs overall in the National League, 1st among rookies by a wide margin. Arenado, Nolan Arenado at 114 of the Rockies. What a player he is.
Oh, gosh. Hear that occasionally about players. Worth the price of admission. He is all of that.
And the 1-1 is lifted into shallow right. Hayward racing in and makes a sliding catch. Look at that reaction from Jason Hayward.
Boy, that was a good play. I mean, that's a major league play. You're battling the sun, the wind. Dan mentioned about an inning ago about Hayward playing too deep in right field. You've got to check the flag. The wind continues to blow in, but Jason had a good jump on that ball. And you don't see that reaction out of Jason Hayward very often.
I haven't seen it once this year. Wow. I think it just adds to the theme of what we've been talking about, the intensity of this game and what it means for both clubs. The Cardinals have come out with an edge here today. Estella is 1 for 2. He's grounded out to second, also singled to center field. Popped up to the left side. Carpenter is over and it's out of play. When you think about it, I mean, the Cubs came in through St. Louis and just beat up the Cardinals in those 3 games. Now, the Cardinals did win 1.
They avoided the sweep.
That was key.
That was the key.
You talked about Piscotty's hit, and I agree with you. It's the biggest that he had as a major leaguer so far, and that double against Fernando Rodney that scored 2. Here's an 0-2.
Thing about the Cubs, you're not going to, generally speaking, you're not going to hold them down on the scoreboard. They're going to score a lot of runs with this offense. Strike out a lot of power.
They have 3 that are in the top 10 of strikeouts, 6 with 100 or more.
Wow.
Just think about if Baez and Soler become everyday players, the amount of strikeouts that potentially this lineup could have.
And how difficult it will be to fit all of them in the lineup.
Right. Slow ground ball to first, and Brandon Moss steps on the bag. Carlos Martinez is settled in. We're headed to 7th, and it's 4-2. And Garcia tomorrow. Lamb came over from Kansas City, part of the Johnny Cueto deal. He's 1-3. Garcia is 9-5. It's our Budweiser What's on Tap, and it's a rookie rotation right now for the Cincinnati Reds. Johnny Cueto has not pitched well at all the last month or so for the Kansas City Royals.
I didn't realize Jaime Garcia lifetime against the Reds in St. Louis 7-1.
7-1. There's Tommy Hunter, the hard-throwing right-hander, coming out of the pen for Chicago. When we last saw the Chicago Cubs, Joe Maddon was saying that our young guys are coming of age. They're starting to believe that they can compete with the Cardinals and the Pirates and some of the top-tier teams. He said, I'm really, still trying to figure out as our bullpen, how do we get to the back end of games? And it's still a work in progress for him.
Tommy Hunter, a 7th inning guy, 8th inning guy at times. But you have Pedro Strop, normally your 8th inning guy, in a perfect world for the Cubs. And then Rondon in the 9th inning, but Pedro Strop will not be available today. Joe Maddon's saying, just go to the beach. He's not, but that's Joe's way of saying that you're not going to be in the game unless it goes 22 innings.
I really took away from Joe Maddon on Friday night after his comments saying the Cardinals are vigilantes and Tony Soprano putting on hits from the dugout.
Strong words for a purpose.
And the purpose in my mind was to say to our young guys, meaning his players, his Cubs players, ground ball hit to second, we can hang with these guys. We can be with the big boys.
That's a great point, Dan, because and we talked about it, we kind of surrounded it before the game today, that he wasn't talking to the Cardinals.
No.
He was talking to his team.
Yep.
Is he that smart? You bet he is.
Now, if you're the Cardinals, it certainly catches your attention.
You don't want to be called vigilantes.
No.
It's not a kind word.
The Vigilantes leading today 4-2.
Yes. Hoping to avoid the sweep again.
This is our Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Yeah, in my mind, he clearly knew the message he was sending, and it was to the guys in that dugout. His shift on here for Moss. He had done similar things too with Tampa Bay when he would talk about Boston or New York in the American League East.
Intentionally, yes.
There was a message there, and it was for his players.
Right.
Moss 0 for 2.
That's really what leadership is, Dan. Trying to get your players to listen to a guy who believes and makes them believe, wants to make them believe that they can play with other people.
Jonathan Broxton getting loose in the Cardinals pen. Left-hander and a right-hander getting loose for Chicago in their pen.
Everybody has a tendency to think that from a mental standpoint it's an individual game. Well, collectively it's a mental game also. Mentioned earlier the Cardinals coming out with a vengeful performance today in the early innings. Things have settled down, but it was a different team those first 3 innings.
An edge to them. That's part of the leadership that he provides.
Absolutely.
The 2-2. A broken bat. The pitch is fouled into the seats. The bat is into shallow right.
That was one situation that Anthony Rizzo was not worried about covering first base, even though he was getting out of the way of what was left of Moss's bat.
Cardinals have a half day to St. Paddy's Day coming up. September 23rd. That's Wednesday. This Wednesday, special team ticket gets you a limited edition St. Patrick's Day themed Patty cap. Tickets at cardinals.com/theme.
Interesting theme. Halfway there, huh?
Halfway to St. Paddy's. Shallow right. The catch is made. So we're halfway to spring training is the way I look at it. Before you know it, it's here. So Martinez hits for himself with a 4-2 lead. If you're trailing in this spot, he would not be hitting. You wouldn't think. His last 2 innings have been very good. 0 for 2 today. He's grounded out and struck out. Sends a fly ball into right center. Fowler makes the catch. Hunter a 1-2-3-7. Fans entering with a ticket receive a 2016 Cardinals magnet schedule presented by Shelter Insurance. Also a ticket voucher for a 2016 home game. Kids 48 inches and under receive a free Six Flags ticket. Visit cardinals.com/promotions for more information. Former Cubs catcher Randy Hundley singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Assuming you know him quite well.
I know him very well. A few nose-to-nose clashes back in the 60s. Epic games, epic seasons. A DeRocher year in 1969 when Gene Oliver, the former Cardinal, and then playing with the Cubs, said, if the Mets catch us, I'll jump off the John Hancock building.
That's right.
and he didn't, but the Mets caught him.
Son, a major league catcher for a number of years, Todd.
Randy, the all-time record of games caught. Leo DeRocher caught him 160 games. I think it was 1969. It may have been 68, but I think it was 69. I mean, just 160 of 162 games. It's barbaric, for crying out loud.
Take years off your career.
And here he is in our booth. Hi, Randy.
Here is Miguel Montero with 1 out and nobody on. And the first pitch is taken for a strike.
That was fun seeing him. He was some competitor, and in a game that can get very rough at times among competitors, he was one of the yeoman gentlemen of the game. I've never said that before about him for public consumption, but I just have the utmost respect for the way he handled the adversity in 1969 and following disappointments for the Cubs for so many years.
Strikeout of Montero. Strikeout number 6.
Good fastball, and that's a good sign for Carlos Martinez.
I know many fans hear us talk about the fantasy camp held with the St. Louis Cardinals. The originator of all the fantasy camps, Randy Huntley.
That's right.
He actually did it for a number of different teams.
He did.
Outside of the Chicago Cubs.
As a matter of
one
fact,
that started it.
the only fantasy camp that I've attended, obviously the Cardinal camp. Gosh, Kurt Flood was still alive.
Wow.
And Bob Gibson, even Steve Carlton was there, but that was all arranged by Randy, and has done. I mean, it's a new business. It has been for 40 years for him. Great idea, and he's followed through with the plum.
Starlin Castro, pinch hitter, chops it. Foul. Oh my.
Talk about great reactions and a great read. Matt Carpenter realizing that there's no chance to get Castro, so he takes a chance, and it's a foul ball. My gosh. By taking that chance, it could have been a double.
And until it reaches and goes past the third base bag, that's the home plate umpire, and then third base umpire makes the call, and he's right on it.
Right.
Here's a 1-1 to Castro. Up and in. Starlin had 6 RBIs in game 1, and he's saying that ball hit him.
I think he's saying that it nicked his elbow. Not seen by Alfonso Marquez, the home plate umpire.
We're going to take a look at it and see if this did hit him.
It makes it less appear that it did, since Molina caught the ball. Catchers don't usually catch balls that hit batters. So I know that it's a strange little point, but maybe the guys in New York will consider that. I would think they should.
You couldn't do this last year. The players have turned around and looking up at the video board beyond the ivy and left field. If you're Joe Madden, why not bring the tying run to the plate?
Sure.
When the Cubs came through St. Louis, Tim, you may remember we were talking to some of their media members, and we said, well, what happens with Castro in postseason play? And wow, he's probably not even on the roster. And we both were taken aback by that. And since that time, he's gone on a tear.
I mean, a real tear.
He's always been able to hit.
Yeah, but he's actually been a better player than he was in his early years. There's a guy who made 3 All-Star teams. He could hit, but not hit for the power that he has this year. A couple of home runs and 6 RBIs against the Cardinals in game 1.
Had 5 home runs, 15 RBIs in his last 23 games. The reason he sits today is because of those numbers we showed you against Carlos Martinez. He's had his issues with him, plus La Stella is swinging the bat very well.
You know, so much really, in fairness, should be the reaction of the player, because if that ball didn't hit Castro, he would not have immediately reacted to a home plate umpire. The guys can't think that quickly.
So he is awarded first base, and the tying run comes to the plate. has 17 home runs, with 13 of those coming from this side of the plate. You would bring in a lefty to face Schwarber, you would think, if you get there. You want to face Fowler from his power side or his better hitting side,
right,
average wise, which is 325 from the right side of the plate.
104 points higher from the right side than the left side.
Cardinals had Segrist up. He's now just standing on the pitching rubber in the bullpen. Broxton is loose as well and ready to go. Martinez trying to make it back-to-back starts, pitching at least 7 innings. He was magnificent the other night in Milwaukee. Here's a 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Very difficult for hitters to see now that shadow encroaching actually past the batter's box.
And a base hit into right field. But very well could have been the final hitter of the day for Carlos Martinez. So 2 aboard. Go-ahead run comes to the plate. Here comes Mike Matheny. He will go with Kevin Segrist, and it'll be appearance number 75 for Kevin Segrist this season, which is tops in the National League. Will step aside. Schwarber coming up. Good outing for Carlos. To St. Louis, bottom of the 7th. Schwarber with 16 home runs to face Kevin Segrist. You have a lefty-lefty matchup here. But a guy that throws a good fastball and a good fastball hitter. Maybe some of the thinking here from Joe Madden.
No, I think you're exactly right on the money. Trying to enter Joe Madden's mind. It's very fertile, I might add. Very imaginative, but I think you're looking at a fastball pitcher to a fastball hitter.
Here's a 1-0. Schwarber pops it foul out of play. He's 0 for 2 today. Walked his first time up, lined out to right, and hit one to the wall and left that was caught by Piscotty. Runners at first and third.
A foul ball and 2 close pitches called balls.
Well, you just wonder if Joe Madden, we show the numbers, what Schwarber's done against lefties, and lefties hitting .300 against Segrist, how much thought he gave to a guy like Baez. And a bouncer hit to second base. Long gobbles it up. And Segrist gets the all-important out here in the bottom of the 7th. Cubs strand 2-run lead. St. Louis on top. Sports Midwest. Let's go to our studio and a Bomberito Sports Update. Neil Ramirez is the new pitcher. Thank you, Jimmy. The top of the lineup. We're in the 8th, and it's 4-2 St. Louis. Starlin Castro stays in the game at second base. Carpenter, Pham, and Hayward. And the 1-0. Ramirez, a third pitcher used. John Lester, 6 innings today, the starter for Chicago. The 6 innings, 6 runs, 4 hits, struck out 7, gave up a pair of home runs, and he walked 2. Here's a 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike. And Carpenter pops it up left side. Schwarber near the dugout, or rather the bullpen, and trips on that mound.
Boy, it's dangerous. Wow.
Here in San Francisco, in Oakland, the bullpens are in play.
We've talked about that all year, tripping on that mound. When you're looking up at the ball, that mound comes up on you in a hurry. And Kyle Schwarber, one of the stars, future stars of the Cubs, wants something like that to put him out for a year.
The 2-2. So Neil Ramirez, the Hyundai pitch arsenal, 4-seam fastball, features a slider and a curve. You're unfamiliar with the territory of playing the outfield anyway, and then all of a sudden the bullpens come into play, and no foul territory. The wind, not easy here at this ballpark. In center field, it is Chris Bryant. Wind is blowing out towards left. So Bryant shifting from third base to center. So Dexter Fowler is out of the game. The 3-2 pitch to Carpenter.
That's the thing. Joe Madden does not worry about late inning defense at all. He moved Chris Bryant from third to center, LaStella from second to third, and Castro, normally a shortstop, is playing at second base. But if you play for Joe Madden, you're going to. It's almost like he's got an expanded roster, really, because he plays guys at so many different positions.
500 strikes out to start the 8th. Just joining us, let's get you caught up. The Mazda game summary. Carlos Martinez 6 2/3. Steven Piscotty is 1 for 1 with a home run, 2-run shot, 2 walks. Lester 6 innings. Rizzo 1 for 3 with a bases loaded single.
How about Carlos Martinez's last 2 starts against Milwaukee in that first game and start today? Very impressive.
Here's Tommy Pham.
6 1/3 today, 8 innings last week, so that's 14 1/3, giving up three earned runs, getting a no decision in last week's game, and can only be the winner today.
0-1 pitch. And prior to the last start against Milwaukee, it's been about a month or so that Martinez
shaky
is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say ineffective because he'd give you 5 or 6 innings, but not like this. The 0-2 pitch to Tommy Pham. Just think about what you said. If you're going to play for Joe Madden, you have to play all over the place.
Yeah.
Ben Zobrist was perfect for Joe Madden.
Boy, the ideal player.
Played literally everywhere.
Was an all-star.
Yep.
That's how good he was. Ben Zobrist now with the Kansas City Royals. Matter of fact, Ben Zobrist was the poster child for Joe Madden's team in Tampa Bay.
Tony La Russa would do that too. He had those versatile players that could shift around the diamond. 1-2 the count. Ramirez has struck out 2. As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to the hashtag MW Data Strong Fan for a chance to have it shown. So 2 outs, and it brings in Jason Hayward, who is 1 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts and a run scored. Shadows certainly a factor now for the hitter.
No, yeah, it's tough. And I've always thought that it's the breaking ball that gives hitters more of a problem than the fastball. A lot of people say throw the fastball because it's on top of you in a hurry. The breaking ball is tougher to pick up in the shadows.
On the air tomorrow from Busch Stadium at 6:30, Lamb and Garcia. The 2-0. Hayward bounces it to second base. We head to the bottom of the 8th. The Cardinals trying to salvage a game in this series. They lead it 4-2. Navy Pier here in Chicago. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Quite an area down there, Navy Pier. And you see that Ferris wheel on the right? The Ferris wheel first was spun in Chicago in 1893 at the World's Fair.
Now, how would you know that?
I read it in The Devil in the White City. What a great book about Chicago and other things.
Leadoff base hit. Coughlin. And the tying run again will come to the plate.
Coughlin first ball hitting, fastball right up the middle.
I don't know about you, Tim. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the Cardinals get into a little trouble here in the eighth inning. They want this game so badly.
Bring in Rosenthal.
You got it.
You can either have him for 6 outs, or you can use him to get out of the 8th inning. If he does, you can bring somebody else in the 9th. But to me, this is 6 save ball game territory right here.
And right when we said that, he grabbed his glove, went to the mound, and started to get loose in a hurry.
His last outing was on Wednesday in Milwaukee.
So, to further your point, rest is not the issue.
No.
He should be ready to go.
Nope.
1 ball, 1 strike on Rizzo. Came up with the bases loaded and singled off the glove of Peralta up the middle to score 2. After the Cardinals jumped out to a 4-run lead. Chris Bryant is on deck. From our vantage point, high atop Wrigley Field, you really do get a good look at how much Rizzo hangs out over the middle of the plate. I mean, he is all over the inside of the plate.
Yeah, he really is.
You see the hands extended a little bit from the body.
Stands closer to the plate than anybody in the major leagues.
No doubt. 2-2.
Remember, in baseball, rule of thumb, if you stand on top of the plate, you like the ball inside. Stand away from the plate, you like the ball outside.
A 2-2. If Rizzo gets aboard, do you go to Rosenthal? Something to think about. We're about to find out. We'll tell you about the change when we come back. and rookies to hit 25 home runs. His next home run, he sets the all-time rookie record in Chicago Cubs history. Broxton is in. Rosenthal continues to throw.
I'll tell you, I already had Rosenthal on my scorecard. That's how sure I was he was coming into the game.
First two reached against Segrist with a base hit and a walk, and here we go. Bryant struck out his first 2 times up. Then it was a sliding catch. A nice play by Hayward and Wright to take a hit away. He's 0 for 3. One ball, 1 strike.
Good fastball from Broxton. Bryant waving at that one. Obviously, Broxton a better chance for the double play ball. Bryant, on the other hand, a fast runner and tough to double up.
Grounded in to do 7 double plays. One ball, 2 strikes. Two and two. Bases loaded. Base hit could tie this game.
Game 1, the Cardinals had, what, 11 walks on Friday? Bunch of them yesterday. These walks are killers.
They've issued 5 today. Now LaStella with the bases loaded and nobody out. One for 3 is LaStella this afternoon. Here's a 1-0. After the walk, you could think about going to Rosenthal again. You need a strikeout.
Yeah. Cardinals, in the worst way, need a double play ball. Seth Maness is up and throwing, along with Rosenthal.
Bases loaded. Nobody out. 2 balls and no strikes on Tommy LaStella.
One of the great hitting situations right here because you know exactly what you're going to get. All you have to do is choose a strike. Cardinals, on the other hand, hope he hits a hard ground ball at somebody.
4-3. 3 consecutive walks.
Yes. And we talked about it when he was up. But a 6-out save would not have been unusual. Last time he pitched was Wednesday. Broxton came in and walked 2. And now a double play ball at least ties the game for the Cubs. Unless it's a 1-2-3 double play.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Fly ball lifted into right field. There's Hayward. Very good arm. Makes the catch. Throw to the plate. Is in time, and he tags him out. It's a double play. They'll race out to check on Yadier Molina. He applied the tag. The glove is off the hand. It's a double play.
Nobody expected a double play like that. That's the best play Jason Hayward has made in a Cardinal uniform. There have been others. That was the best. Perfect throwing position, perfect throw, and the Cardinals are hopeful that the price is not too high.
I just wonder if he got spiked on the wrist.
Well, what happens when a guy comes in with that straight leg? There's a lot of force, and that's the way guys are trained. That was Anthony Rizzo coming in. They're trained to come in straight, not hook sliding, not going in with the hands, but coming with that stiff left leg. Perfect throw by Hayward.
I think you described it perfectly. It was not the spikes, I don't believe, that caught Molina. And now they continue to check on Molina and the chance of Yachty here at the ballpark. And now do you go to Rosenthal to get a 4-out save?
Well, you may have to bring in a new battery. Quick tag, perfect throw by Hayward, and Yachty went down immediately. Can't speculate, but my gosh.
He's going to stay in this game.
You just wonder whether he can catch the ball. Also going down on balls in the dirt. I mean, Seth Maness got the most unusual double play of his career in this inning. Fly ball to Hayward. Molina making the tag. Gosh.
First pitch to Miguel Montero from Trevor Rosenthal at 97 miles an hour, taken for a ball. Runners at first and third. The 8th assist for Jason Hayward. He's made a couple of very good plays defensively today. He's watching Molina just catch the ball. That pitch at 100 miles an hour seemed to be okay, but that's easier said than done watching from up here.
Of course, you need a Derrick to get him out of the game.
You'd have to carry him off.
You would. You would. And this is proof of that. Catching 100 miles an hour fastball with a sore left hand.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
And Montero's going to get another one, too. If this isn't catch me if he can territory, I don't know what is. No changeups, no curveballs, mustard.
1-2 the count. Rosenthal trying to send us to the 9th. 100 again. You had no problems with Rizzo tagging up on that play, did you?
No, I did not. I think he was looking at Hayward, and I believe Hayward's first thought, don't know, I think his first thought was going to third base to keep Bryant at second and concede the run. But now the wind took over. He came forward, made the play, it changed his mind. So I think that's what Rizzo had to figure out. He and third base coach Gary Jones.
Second plate appearance for Montero. Struck out back in the 7th inning.
So many things were involved in that play, Dan, because of the wind.
The 2-2. Here come the fans again. He got him. Strikeout for Rosenthal sends us to the ninth, with the Cardinals leading by the score of 4-3. What a ball game this has been. Manus comes on to get a double play. We weren't anticipating this type of DP, but the Cardinals will take it. Then the strikeout from Rosenthal. 4-3, St. Louis. Continue to work on Yadier Molina. If you're wondering about the injury that he suffered last year, and Peralta takes a strike, that was the torn ligament in his right thumb. You mentioned the wrist and maybe that being the issue with Molina on that slide by Rizzo. He did have a fractured left hand and a fractured left wrist back in 2005 and 2007.
10 years ago, you'd think it'd be healed, but nobody knows whether it resurfaced or not. What a tandem to turn that double play. Brilliant.
Here's a 1-2. Rendon into the game. He has closed some of these games out for Chicago, and this is our Chevy called to the pen. Any way you want to look at it, it's been a fabulous baseball game.
Unbelievable. Yeah, if you just joined us, too bad.
You've missed out. Catch the replay. In the first 3 innings, it felt like a game in itself.
Yeah, it did.
Peralta today with a 2-out RBI back in the 3rd. Rosenthal has been asked to get the final 4 outs for St. Louis. Cubs had the bases loaded, nobody out. Manus came in, got the fly ball to Hayward, turned into a double play. Then the strikeout of Montero. Hits sharply to 3rd. Estella with time and safe at first.
That's a crossover. We've talked about Rizzo, one of the best in the business, but he was off the bag when he made the play. La Stella hurrying that throw for obvious reasons. He dropped the ball. Joe Madden may think about challenging this.
And he will.
And he will.
So that'll be, if it holds, the 9th error on La Stella, who started today at second base.
It looked like the right foot, the way I saw it originally, the right foot was off the bag in the air when the left foot came down, and that's when the throw came in. It was as good a play as Rizzo could make, but I think he was safe. Can't tell. I think the throw beat Johnny, but I believe Rizzo's foot was off the bag right there. It's in the air. Looks like. I don't think it's conclusive enough. Do you, Dan?
I don't.
It's tough. It's one of the worst videos we've had all year because there's such a glare from the sun and the camera.
Again, the importance of this game here today. The Cardinals, if they win, would send Chicago 6 back with 13 to play. Pittsburgh then would have to win tonight to stay 4 back.
They have their best on the mound against the Dodgers tonight. Garrett Cole. Pirates lost to Greinke on Friday night. They beat Kershaw 3-2 last night. Faced Bolsinger tonight.
Garrett Cole, you know he's going to be pumped up for that game. He's back home too.
Right.
Very important game for Pittsburgh. Would separate them and Chicago by 2 if the Cardinals hold on, and they would win.
2:30 in Los Angeles. Now we'll guarantee you every television available is on in the visiting locker room at Dodger Stadium watching this game. Book that.
You know, Tim, first of all, I think you're right. I think he was off the bag, but it goes back to the original point of the rule that if it's not conclusive, you can't overturn it. And he very well may have been on the bag, but too tough to tell.
Rizzo did a great job with some fancy footwork. He has great feet around first base.
Here's Stephen Piscotty. Peralta was down 0-2 and reaches on the air. Piscotty, a pair of walks and a 2-run homer. That was in the first off of John Lester. 2 home runs in the first inning for the Cardinals. Off the Cubs left-hander made the start. You know, it's funny how you look at a game too. If you're the Cardinals, you're saying, well, you escape danger. Just 1 out, or rather 1 run with the bases loaded, nobody out. And from the Cubs perspective, one of the things that you do talk about, should you have sent Rizzo on that play, knowing the reputation of the arm of Hayward, where it was hit?
I think he decided when Hayward was farther away, much farther away from home plate. And as I said, I don't know, but it appeared that Hayward was originally thinking third base to keep Bryant at second, and it changed his mind because the wind was blowing so hard from right field. Perhaps harder than it's blown all day.
For sure it is right now. Yeah. I also go back to what we talked about time and again. Make the defense make the play.
Right.
I mean, how many times do you really see that play made?
Yeah, from Jason Hayward or anybody.
One and two the count. Looking ahead to the bottom of the ninth, the Cubs will have Castro, Fowler, and Schwarber coming up. Check that. Castro, the pitcher spot, and then Schwarber. So we'll see a pinch hitter. Terrific August for Hector Rondon. The 2-2. Strikeout of Piscotty.
Tough to tell which pitch. So if it's tough for us in the video to tell, what must the hitters be thinking?
Older ballpark, and it just gets so dark near the batter's box and now the mound. That's it out of play.
I have to give a Yogi at age 91. We have to give one of his lines in describing left field at Yankee Stadium and how tough it was to see in the afternoon. He said, "Gets late early out here." Well, it gets late early in this ballpark too.
The 0-1. And Wong hits a fly ball down the left field line. And Schwarber makes the catch up against the sidewall.
That was a fair ball too, Dan.
He almost knocked down the wall.
He is a rather large guy.
It's a big dude out there.
It's a big dude. Good play.
Boom.
He's had two similar plays where his feet have been in fair territory. One that he dropped earlier. The ball was in foul territory and ruled foul. That one was ruled fair, and he made the catch.
It's why he's still in this game. You know, you think about what we were talking about earlier. Would you let Schwarber hit against Segrist? And you say, well, you might get one more shot at the Cardinals, and he's got a chance to put one in the seats.
That's right.
Speaking of big guys, Matt Adams will be the pinch hitter. And he will pinch hit for Yadier Molina.
Nothing against Matt Adams, but that is not good news for the Cardinals.
No. We had a camera on Molina during the break, and the folks at home could not see it, but Mike Matheny and the medical team were working on his hand and the wrist area. You could see Yadi did not want to come out of the game, but he had that look of as if he knows something's not right. We'll find out more after the game. First pitch to Adams, a strike.
Also, Dan, the immediacy with which he hit the ground after the tag. It wasn't a delay. There's no delay whatsoever.
A 1 pitch to Adams. Cardinals, when they salvaged a game in that 4-game set a week ago against the Reds, it was Adams off the bench with a 2-run homer. Two outs, runner at first. Fouled back. 2 strikes on Matt Adams. coming up at a 1-run lead for St. Louis. Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. St. Louis, 3 outs to go. Trevor Rosenthal trying to make it a 4-out save. Starlin Castro will hit. The new catcher is Tony Cruz. Castro came in as a pinch hitter in the 7th, was hit by a pitch, and then left stranded. Soler has moved to the on-deck circle. First pitch, taken for a ball.
It is a rare day when Castro walks. So anything around the strike zone, he'll be swinging.
Two and one. One of the things the Cardinals did this year was work with Rosenthal on control issues by making him work from the stretch. It has paid dividends. Only 23 walks this year.
I remember first seeing you in spring training, and that was the one note you gave me. That, did you know Rosenthal's throwing from the stretch now? Kind of casually said, it'll help, probably.
Yeah.
You know, not knowing it would help to this degree.
Been a big difference for him. 2-2. Now 3-2. Last pitch at 1-0-1 in the gun. 3-2. Castro with a base hit to center. The tying run is on. Winning run comes to the plate. Your pinch runner. Soler will be the hitter.
Quentin Berry brought up in September strictly as a pinch runner. Strictly.
346 at-bats this year for Soler. 113 strikeouts. But he's got power. He's grounded into 8 double plays. No Molina. You also think about running against Tony Cruz.
Be more inclined to, particularly a fresh catcher. He hasn't had a chance to really warm up and come out there. That's another thing you add to the dossier.
Here's a 1-0. Hit down the left field line to pull foul. The word, by the way, on Yadier Molina is a left thumb sprain. Reevaluated tomorrow. One ball, one strike. Kyle Schwarber is on deck. Runner goes, throw by Cruz. It's there and gone! Tony Cruz guns down Berry for the first down.
My gosh. That's his second throw to second base. His first one was the practice toss when Rosenthal had finished warming up. I mean, a bullet to second. Quick tag from Wong to get him. My gosh. Talk about drama.
The tag on the helmet. 2-2 the count on Soler. And he got him there. And just like that, a shift in momentum here in the bottom of the ninth. 2 outs now.
2 for the price of 1. 1 throw to second and 1 pitch from Rosenthal.
The final hope for Chicago is Kyle Schwarber. If this is a sign of things to come in postseason between these two teams, buckle up. What a ball game this has been. Ball 1 to Schwarber. One of the top plays in this game made by Hayward on a double play in the 8th. Rosenthal trying to end it. The 1-1. Ground ball that's hit to short. This should do it. Peralta to first. The pick by Moss. Moss. The Cardinals salvage a game, and they win it by the final of 4-3 in one of the most dramatic wins of the year.
Not only a pick, but a backhanded pick by Moss. That was a tough play. And this game has been tough to take. I'm telling you.
Budweiser player of the game, Jason Hayward. It's not what he did at the plate, it's what he did with his glove and his arm. What a ball game.
Tony Cruz, the throw of his life.
Molina with the tag and the throw by Hayward to make sure the Cardinals stayed on top.